Okay, we'll give it a right old rolling around. Just make sure everything's covered in there. Quite difficult going up the steering tube, the tube here. Make sure that's fully covered. But oops, come here. As you can see, it's got a good old covering in there, and we'll the next step is to get the excess out. You don't want to leave any excess in, otherwise it'll dry quite crusty and it can sometimes peel off and fail. So that's the next step. I'm glad I've wrapped it in cling film because it's a messy old job. Here's another quick little tip. This is the Fordson float bowl, which I got the broken screws out in a little short a few months ago. It's gone rusty again, but it's a bit of surface rust. Well, the float bowl had a crack in it. You can just about see it there. So why I had the POR 15 fuel tank sealer, I've carefully got a small brush and painted the inside of that so it'll do another turn. That's just a handy little tip, because you can buy replacement replica float bowls, but be prepared to have your pants ripped off. So just why I had the juice out, the POR 15, we've just given it a little dab in with the brush, both sides. It's got a good coating on the inside, and then I just put, for good measure, just put a little bit on the outside, and I did wire brush it up, don't worry, I haven't painted over the rust. I've got the wire brush on the drill and just give it a quick buzz out inside. So that's just a quick little tip. Might save someone a couple of £100, because I think they're about £200 then, 250, something like that. So that's tip of the day. Okay, it's Wednesday night. The tank liners had overnight to dry, so don't know if you can see how good this is going to turn out, but there you go. That certainly cured our rust problem. There's a few little lumps in it there, but that's not rust or debris, it's just like lumps in the tank liner resin material, little air bubbles. I'll just see if I can zoom in. You can see it's little air bubbles. There's the outlet with its gauze there, and it is like on a little bumped up piece, so any garbage will settle around it and not go down the pickup pipe. The tube there is for the steering column. That's about as good as a picture as I can get for you. But anyway, that should surely be an end to our rust problem in the fuel. So there we go. That's another job off the to-do list. So the 1060 can go back together now. Man, that took some doing. Here's a little update of the workshop. We've got the doors on, we're all clad in, capping's on. It should be a lot less drafty this winter. We've got these little side pieces so we can put like the pillar drill behind each one, or you know, bench grinder behind one, pillar drill behind the other. All galvanised hardware, made out of hardwood, so should last a lifetime. Quite posh for a tractor shed, really. So that's a little update on the garage, and we'll have somewhere to work this winter. Whilst we were looking on eBay for service tools, I managed to find the genuine valve spring compressor, so that's another one in the Nuffield service kit that we've got. Let's get it in frame. So that was a good find. Whilst I was also looking for more service tools, I managed to find the correct extractor to remove the copper sleeves, which is 18G213, and I also found the tap, which is 18G213A. Now they were both in Canada, new old stock Churchill tools, so seeing as we've got a fleet of Nuffields, we may as well buy them. So that's another one off the wish list. That's the tap to thread the copper sleeve and then extract it with the tool I've just shown you on the previous page. So you tap a thread into the copper sleeve, put a plug in so the swarf doesn't go down into the bore, and then use this tool here, which I found the new old stock one in Canada, to extract it. And then to install your new sleeve, this is a sprung loaded tip to line it up, and you just hammer them in, well, knock them in. When installing new injector sleeves with tool 18G561, ensure the piston of the cylinder being operated on is at bottom dead centre so you don't ding up the piston. Now, I couldn't find one of them, so we've had to manufacture one. Fresh off the lathe. We've even got the knurl on it. Now the only difference is I haven't put a screw here on mine because I've used a spring and an Allen bolt, get the light right, to make it adjustable tension. Come on, focus. So I can loosen or tighten the Allen bolt to adjust the tension how I please. So that is our version of that. And if we come over here, there's the new copper sleeve. I'll do this with one hand. Fits on there nice. It's just a slight click to it because this is going to shrink when it's hit home. And we don't want it to grab onto it, and then we can as we get it lined up and as we knock it in, this is sprung loaded so as it can't do any damage in the cylinder. Just let me take that off so I don't drop it. So it's got a nice bit of resistance to it. So that's another service tool in the kit. I went to town on it because, seeing as we've got quite a few Nuffields, it'll probably get used in the future. So we can get their injector sleeve installed into the 1042 now and get it back on the road. Now then, if we go to another file that we have, service memorandum. This was published on 30th of April 1959. Injector nozzle sleeve replacer, tool 18G561. To ensure a gas and watertight seal between copper sleeve and the cylinder, is important that the sleeve be fitted correctly. This new service tool 18G561 with a retractable pilot centralises the sleeve and guides it squarely into position. To avoid any possibility of damage, the piston in the cylinder being worked upon should be at the bottom of its stroke. In use, the new sleeve should be fitted to the tool, the retractable pilot extended to its limit and located in the nozzle hole before any attempt is made to drive the sleeve into position. There's the tool, and there's our version. So took a few nights after work whittling that down from a billet of aluminium that was in the scrap, and I had to wait for a drill because I needed the right size drill to put a hole right through it. If I remember, I managed to get a new old stock drill, a Cleveland, proper stuff. What size was it? Let's have a look. 25/64, and we needed, well, to the yellow line there, we needed every bit of it, but I managed to get that last bit there with the clearance for the threads to just drill that last little bit, because when you offer it up with the line, you know, we're getting down there. So that's that job which I've been dreading done, and we've got it for future projects. Well then, sports fans, if you're the Sportage tractors, then you're at the right place. Today's job, we've just took delivery of the Clee track. You might have seen that in an earlier clip. In the last video we had the wd6 running, but we had to give it a tow. The starter motor was playing up, so we've took the starter motor off, had it gone over and checked through, and it turns out there was a burr on the Bendix that was stopping it. It was, when we took it off, we noticed it was quite stiff to turn, and now it's moving freely. There was a burr on the Bendix that was stopping it throwing out, so it's all been took apart, disassembled, cleaned out, not by us. There's a bloke we know locally who can do this, and an old chap who's expert at it all. So the job now is to get the starter back on, and it's a bit of a pain on these because you have to get it in the hole there in the aperture, we have to remove the belt pulley and lift it out the way, and you can just do it without taking the tank off, but it is difficult because these long bolts hold you up. So I believe it's the same on a Farm All M as well. So that's the job at the moment. and we can actually read the tag a bit better with the battery box off. And it's a wd6, because I was unsure if it was a super having disc brakes and that style of wheel, but it is tagged up as a wd6, not a super, and that is a 1. I thought it was a dint in the tag, but it is a 1, and it makes it 1953 if I remember correctly, so we can put that one to bed. And also, just for a note, the crank handle out of a W petrol or gasoline W6 is not the right handle for a WD6. It doesn't go in enough. It just barely catches on the edge here, and you've got to watch it. So I did try crank starting it, but the handle kept slipping out and it was a bit dangerous, so we ended up giving it a tow. This is just to keep the weather off the magneto while it was out of action. But having this cast pulley on's a bit of a dead weight, and to extract the dowels I just used a thread chaser, 3/4 coarse thread, UNC coarse thread, and it just winds them out nicely. You must get them dowels out, otherwise you'll struggle. There's one here, one on the other side. It's quite breezy today, so I don't know how the sound quality is going to be, but this is the job at the minute. We're going to get the starter back on this, and hopefully we'll be able to start it on its own battery and starter motor. Okay, just get it in frame so you get a good view of it. This is a Cletrack model 30G, and I believe they were made from between 1935 and 36, and according to the internet they only made 90 of them. It was built by Cletrack, which was the crawler division of Oliver. Yeah, considering it's like the best part of 100 years old, it's not in bad shape at all. It runs really well, oil pressure's top of the clock. It's got a 6-cylinder side valve engine in it there. This fires up instantly, runs nice, roars. We've got the original tags, Cleveland, Ohio. That is a big fuel tank, that. Mind you, if you're out on the American big fields, the prairies or what have you, I suppose you'd need it, because that will gobble juice. For the age of it, it does show somewhere, but you've got to remember it's nearly 90 something years old. 80, what was it, 35, yeah, it'd be like 91 years old. So the drawbar's not been built up, and that's, you know, there's no weld on it, so I don't, you know, it's good. I've seen newer tractors with a lot more wear. It's got the Grouser track pads on. Someone's spent a bit of time or making them, tracking them little boots down, as it would have been. Clutch pedal's still got some serrations on it. It goes in and out of gear and drives nice. That's your ignition. This is the choke, amp meter, oil pressure, coolant temperature. Which is a 3-speed in reverse. Throttle lever here. It's a tidy old tub really for its age. fleet track. It does want the core plugs replacing. That one's leaking and the one down there's leaking as well, so that's a little job we've got to do. It's got a good block in it, it's never been cracked or welded. The designer of that must have used an Etch-a-Sketch, very square, angular. We do have a later Lathe track, a 1942 AG, which is a 4-cylinder model, which is a bit more styled. It's a nice old thing. The manifold's in pretty good order. It's just had one weld repair to the lug there, but that's nothing for its age. The dynamo or generator is gear driven from the timing gears. It is, it's good. You got to lift the belt pulley off like that to get enough clearance to get this in.
Right.
Well, it's 3 o'clock on Sunday. It's starting to look a bit more like a tractor. We've got all the bonnets back on it. I've just removed the handbrake lever because I've got the new bush here. You can buy these from Tractor Spares Limited or Charnley's. That's from there. Just take the waddle out of that. And we've also got the correct, instead of someone's put a piece of conduit in it there between the bell housing, we've also got the proper T-section rubber that just knocks in. It has a lip on one side so you can just force it in. So we're going to carefully try and tap that in and then try and lever it in under the battery box. Doesn't matter if it doesn't go in under the battery box as long as it's in on the sides. I've also to make a replacement air fleed. Here we are, just on the outside workbench. I managed to get the old bush out with the hacksaw, just split it to give a bit of relief to it, and it just popped out. You can see how it's paper thin. So we're just squeezing in the new bush now and using the vise to keep things parallel because it's quite an awkward shape to lay in the press. So we're using the vise just to, and it doesn't take much, just to wind it home. So we'll see you back at the tractor. Well then, it seems to be 1 step forward and 5 back. Just to get rid of this bit of conduit someone's used to the bell housing gasket and put the proper one in. It was a lot more involved than what I thought. Battery box off, all the wiring loom out the way, air cleaner off because it's attached to the battery box. Another one of them little 5-minute jobs, but do it proper, do it once. You only have to do it the once, and I am glad to see the back of that thing. Now we can put it back together again. I'll be getting good at these by the time I've finished.